and don't be like, all the time I was like, God, shut up, Sean, and quit staring at Michael.
I think the same thing. We're all learning together. Hey guys, welcome back for another edition of the podcast here. Back finally is Mr. Sean Cavett. Going to bring us some good stories from the high school. We're going to share some and then share later on about some recovery stories. So thanks for joining. Thanks for liking and subscribing, everybody. And so go ahead, Sean, and start with the one that you were talking about, the quarter in the lunchroom.
Okay, so
I like this one.
One thing about high school students is they're always thinking about, just different pranks to pull. And I don't think I was the one that came up with this. I just happened to be around with the people that did. And so during lunch, I guess we had 2 sessions of lunch, even though it was a small school.
Yeah.
We went in during the first one, and right beside our table, so we sat at a table, and the lunch line was just right beside us. So we glued a quarter down on the ground in between our booth and the lunch line. Yeah. So a lot of people came by and they didn't even see it, but this one kid comes by, and we all love this kid. He was
a couple of grades younger than we were.
Yeah, he was a couple grades younger in a different class, different set of classes, but just an awesome young man. But he comes in and he sees that quarter, and this dude drops down on the ground, and with his little nubby fingers, he starts picking it up, and you can see in his face, he goes, his little eyebrow goes up, and he's like, well, that's weird. So he's like, I need some mechanical advantage. So he goes and he gets a fork, and he just starts stabbing at this quarter. And I'm thinking he works on it what seems like 5 or 10 minutes and gets just so frustrated and walks off. And we're horse laughing because it's pretty funny.
It's super entertaining, probably.
It's the reason you do it. Right there in lunch, everybody sees it. It just happened to be this kid just made it hilarious. And then we had another guy come in. So after this guy came up, or he gave up with the fork, this other guy comes in with a shovel and just says, boom, and scooped it up and took the quarter. So if you ever need to get a glued quarter off the floor.
So he grabbed, Darren got a shovel from the ag shop class?
I don't know. I want to say he got it from Fuzz.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
I think he got it from Fuzz and got that quarter.
For those of you that don't know, Fuzz he was like a celebrity janitor.
He was.
At our high school. Super chill guy.
Oh, absolutely.
He worked there forever, years and years and years. The guy never aged.
No, he just looked the same.
At all. He just looked the same for about 30 years.
And I remember there was always one question you would always ask Fuzz. That's, how's it hanging, Fuzz?
What's up?
How's it hanging, Fuzz?
Yeah.
How's it hanging?
Super nice guy. Never aged. Never knew his first name or real name at all.
Fuzz. What are you talking about?
Just Fuzz.
Just Fuzz.
And there's a gas station here in town that sells Fuzz's Hot Slaw, and I don't know if that's connected.
If it's not, it should be.
Yeah, the quarter prank, I remember that. I don't know who did that. I don't know who eventually got it up, but I remember, and I feel like that quarter was there for 2 days maybe.
It may have been.
Like it was there for a couple of days. Like it was the event of that week, the first nonviolent event of that week.
Right.
But somebody had glued down a quarter there right beside the lunch. And a quarter is a big deal. I got to thinking because Jungle Juice, I think, was 75 cents or $1. And back in our day, you would use lunch money. Your mom or dad would give you like $1.25 or $1.50 or something. And so a quarter on the ground was a big deal. You just needed
a third of a Jungle Juice.
2 more quarters to go, and you got yourself a Jungle Juice, which was back in our day, the pink little boxes of Kool-Aid with, I think it had a zebra on the side of it or something like that. It did. It was so delicious. Pure sugar.
Yeah, well, I don't think it was good for us.
Pure pink sugar.
Probably the reason for autism today. Jungle Juice.
And they would definitely watch you at the Jungle Juice milk fridge, whatever. You would get one. And we were forever. I mean, even the good kids were forever trying to steal Jungle Juice because it was that delicious.
It was the best.
But that guy, man, with the stubby fingers, man, that guy, I think his name was James or something.
See, I was thinking Chris.
I think you're right.
But I can't remember for sure. I
can be right. I think you're right.
I see him like plain as day.
I think you are his name. I think you're spot on. His name was Chris.
And it's it was hilarious. And it was like nobody tried it. It was nothing mean. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess maybe some people might think it's mean, but nobody got hurt in the gluing of this quarter or recovering the quarter. But yeah, memories were made.
Man, that's hilarious.
That is.
I remember one substantial one. I think I was coming out of science class, and we would frequently take restroom breaks, just to give yourself a mental health break from trying to learn. We had a real learning struggle there at that school, But learning was not a priority, so when we were made to learn, man, it was tough. You would need to tap out 30 minutes in or something. And then we smoked cigarettes in high school. And I don't remember even enjoying cigarettes that much as I enjoyed trying to sneak and enjoy the cigarette.
Without getting busted.
I enjoyed the camaraderie of being trapped in some tiny bathroom with 9 other people sharing a menthol cigarette.
Hot box and a Pall Mall.
Yeah, and knowing that we're going to get caught in just a matter of seconds. It's a matter of seconds and we're all getting caught. And we couldn't get enough of it, so we enjoyed it. So I remember taking a restroom break, and this was before cell phones.
It was. It's
So
hard
you
to
would take a
remember.
restroom break and you would go out and you would just hope, you would look down in the hallway to the left, to the right, and you would hope that one of your smoking compadres
Right.
just happened to be in the hallway at the same time. The hallway's empty. There may be one or two people.
And when you say hallway, that's very literally
It is
the hallway.
the high school
The
hallway, 'cause
hallway.
it was such a small place. I would look to the left, I would look to the right, and I don't see anybody. But I see a friend of mine, but he's a non-smoker. And I see him messing with a locker, and I go over there. I'm like, "Hey, man, what's going on?" He goes, "You might want to get away. I'm setting this locker on fire." And I'm like, "Okay, sounds interesting. Sounds better than 10th grade science class right now.
Right.
You don't have a cigarette, but you're about to set something on fire." And I don't think he was really going to set it on fire. And so another guy comes over because he heard him said something about setting on fire. One of the seniors, and the seniors they were gods among little people. We were just the little people. And so one of the seniors just comes around. And seniors back in our day looked like anybody from Metallica or Skid Row.
Yeah.
They wore the concert T-shirt. They had long hair down to their shoulder, maybe a nose earring. They usually had the hottest girl in the high school as their girlfriend, and they played in some rock band or drove a Camaro. And these were the coolest guys. So cool they didn't need sports to be cool.
They didn't need sports.
Well, one of those guys happened to be in the hallway. So now this guy's got the peer pressure of one of the super cool dudes watching him.
You got to do it then.
So he's got to set this locker on fire. Maybe it was a joke at first, maybe not, but he had the lighter, so he at least his headspace was going in that direction. Well, back in those days, your locker was jammed, with an old jean jacket, maybe some tissue paper, some old textbooks, some ditto forms. The ditto form, that's a word for a copied homework assignment that they give you. And this guy just had a bunch of junk in his, it's maybe a can of fishing lures or something,
Definitely flammable stuff.
Just, everything but textbooks was in this guy's locker. And he lit it on fire. And it like Will Ferrell says, it escalated quickly. You wouldn't think so because it's in a set of metal lockers. Metal's not flammable.
Not at all.
But I'm telling you, whatever this guy had in his locker sure was. And so his old sock and his old T-shirt and some old wadded up homework papers caught fire rather quickly. And it was smoking.
I don't remember that one. Oh, that might have been 93. Do you think 93?
Yeah, I was in the 9th or 10th grade one.
Keep going, sorry.
But that locker caught on fire. And I don't know if there's no way it caught the neighboring locker on fire because it's separated by metal. I don't want to be over dramatic about it. But whatever did catch on fire, it exploded on fire. And so we went back to our respective classes ASAP.
I have no idea what happened.
And I sat down in the science chair and I'm just going back to my homework, looking at photographs of, molten lava or whatever we were studying in earth science. And that smoke alarm caught on. And so I didn't think it was going to catch on fire at all, but that smoke alarm caught off and we had to evacuate, if I remember correctly. And then they cleared the hallway. The principal's in the hallway. And could you imagine being the principal of this high school?
No.
And they went through several principals, like around 9th or 10th grade. That's kind of when the principal, which was Coach Dillon's dad, he was an older guy. And I think he just retired from the school system. You got to retire at some point.
That's it.
And then you've got these other principals that were trying to take over this.
I feel like there was a doctor that they brought in that was going to try to establish rule and order.
He was a Marine.
And this joker ended up getting run out, is what I hear.
It was imagine trying to manage, the first Iraq war, trying to subdue Fallujah, Iraq was basically probably his assignment, and was the equivalent of our high school, I guess. And he wasn't there. He came in way too strong. It made the resistance even stronger. But the smoke filled up the little hallway, and I remember the principal coming down the hallway and the look on his face of going, "What now?"
Wow.
His face.
Why would they do that? Why not?
Because you don't just metal lockers don't accidentally combust.
No, they need help.
Somebody helped this thing set on fire, and it was such a big deal. They had an assembly program. They made us. No one could leave the campus. They made us all go into the auditorium, which was never used, by the way.
Baseball. We've used it in baseball. I'll tell a story about that. Go ahead.
Graduation and when we were all in very big trouble was when they got us all together, all 9th, 10th, and 11th, 12th graders, and they were basically like, "Who set that locker on fire?"
What locker?
No one in their right mind is going to stand up in front of 60.
No, and rat out the senior or whoever it was that lit the match.
No.
Heck no.
No way. But anyway, and they kept us there. I remember we were there for a long time, even past when school was out. They were like, "We're canceling all the bus routes until somebody admits
somebody's got to come forward."
And I'm like, "Well, it was several of us in the hallway, and it will not be me." So we can be here all night long.
I'm trying to survive high school.
It doesn't
first off.
matter, you know, and we're all kind of friends. It was small enough a school. We're all kind of friends too. You know, just whatever. You know, the guy's locker set on fire. It needed cleaned out anyway. Probably it was quite a mess. I seen it for you know, a few seconds of it.
He basically got a fresh start.
We did the guy a favor, really. It was a health hazard anyway. And I think eventually later on, they the person that did it just admitted to it or told the wrong person, and the wrong person
That's probably what
went to the office and you know what
Those
have you.
snitches are everywhere, man.
But that the story of the burning locker.
I was a snitch in my own right. So I'll tell you this story. This is my sophomore year, and I didn't play basketball, but I was friends with a couple of basketball players. And if they watch this, not that they will, they know exactly who it is. But so I don't remember what the deal they had together, but one of them was going to bring liquor, fifths of liquor for the other one. Like, I don't know why, but
At a game or a practice?
No, this is
or-
at school.
Oh, just in
This is
school.
literally at school. So basketball player A brings these fifths of liquor, I don't remember what they were, gives them to basketball player B in the morning. Basketball player B has them in his backpack, right? And he's walking around, and these glass things they're hidden in the backpack. And so finally, people find out, the principal, Gary Davis, finds out, Keith Beatty finds out. So then they start calling people to the office. So me, I'm a sophomore in high school. I'm new here, and the transplant they weren't always welcome. You know what I mean? A lot of people didn't want transplants there.
Yeah.
A lot of pure Charleston people wanted to keep it pure, and I get that, man.
Yeah, we want to keep it pure and
Keep
stupid.
it pure, so don't keep these kids out of here. But anyway, I was there, and I got called to the office, and it was the most intimidating thing I've ever been in. So I walk in, and it's Gary Davis at his. Of course, you walk by Kathy Turner, right? Who's my baseball coach.
Secretary.
I'm thinking, great, you know, Coach Turner's gonna know I'm in more trouble. So I walk in, and they're like, you know, we need to search. I drove a minivan, a tan Astro van. They're like, we need to search your van. I'm like, why? Like, because you have liquor in it. I said, I don't have liquor in my van. They're like, that's what we heard. We need to search it. Unless you can tell us where the liquor came from, we're gonna have to search your stuff.
Wow.
So being stupid that I'm stupid now, but I was even worse when I was 16. I was like, oh, basketball player A brought that to basketball player B. Like, straight snitch these jokers out. And the gratitude Mr. Davis and Keith Beatty showed me was that as soon as I left, they paged basketball player A to the office. Thanks. Yeah. Wonder who snitched. So I guess on the last podcast, I almost got in a lot of fights, dude. A lot of fights. But this dude was one to fight me. Both of them, actually. And so I guess I lied my way out of it. I was like, absolutely did not say a word. Coincidence.
Yeah.
So that was a lie. But yeah, Charleston's the kind of school that you would bring fifths of liquor for your friends, and he would just carry it around class to class. So that's one story I remember about being a snitch, and I learned right then. So I think there are definitely instances where you have to report things to your superiors, absolutely. But then there's a lot of stuff you just plead the fifth. I plead the fifth.
Yeah.
You've seen the Chappelle thing?
Yeah.
Plead the fifth. Yeah. So that's what I've learned to do. I have no comment. It's a legal answer.
That's right. Yeah. Man, what a fun time that place was. I wrote down another one. Let's see here. There was a friend of ours. Well, of course, we were all friends. And one day I was standing outside, and he comes underneath the school bus. He like rolls underneath the school. I hear him holler my name, and I'm like, hey, what's going on? And I'm looking like, why is he near this school bus? And he log rolls out, and I'm like, hey, man, what's going on? Like, what are you doing underneath the school bus, man? How random. And he says, just cutting the brake supply lines off the school bus is all. And I was like, what? And he was holding some brake line cutters. And I'm like, are you kidding? And here's a guy who does not work on cars, wears a dress polo to school every single day.
There weren't very many preps at Charleston.
There was a few. He's sporting a gold necklace. You know, some of us would wear those every now and then. Driving a sports, it's the most unlikely character to be working with his hands, getting messy, cutting brake lines on a school bus.
Did this dude have a Dodge Daytona? A red Dodge? No, wrong one.
And I'm just like, you got to be kidding me. Now, he was also a super funny prankster. Like, he would have just role played this just to get people to kind of laugh and just to kind of cut people up. But I'm pretty sure he was quite serious. He cut some
What first grader pissed him off that he's going to
some
crash the
damages
whole
were
bus?
done on that bus. And then we're just going to go play ping pong or go get something to eat or go back to class or just something like nothing happened. And I thought years later, I'm like, this is not a normal high school.
No, yeah.
You know, we never had a mass shooting, but your bus may or may not stop at the train tracks. And so I don't think anybody died. I don't remember any type of news story about a bus.
So who would even think about that? What's going to happen to make you so angry that you're going to freaking take this bus out? That's
I don't
funny,
know, but
the internet came out while we were at Charleston. The internet,
really?
Yeah. So behind the school, there was one girl. She graduated with us, and I guess they were the first people I knew to have the internet.
There's no way.
Yeah,
no
it's a
way.
true story.
What was their names?
Carolyn Haynes was this girl's name. Yeah,
she had black hair, Carolyn Haynes?
She did, yeah. And she was from the Billy Haney Meat Factory. I think even though I think the names were different. Maybe she was. I always felt that she was, but I don't know. I don't remember.
They were a well-to-do off family.
Yeah. They supplied all the lunch meats for all the schools in the area. But this girl had the internet at her house, and so I remember going and just cussing in chat rooms to get blocked. Like we had the internet where you could talk to anybody. I think it wasn't quite like what it is now, but you could reach people. Kentucky, New York, really across the globe. And in our vast wisdom, we went not to try to build relationships, but to cuss people out all over the world just to see what it took to get blocked. And so, and a good FU a few times would get you kicked off America Online
What
chat.
year do you think that was?
Probably 95.
I didn't find out about the internet till many years later.
I had my first computer in 96. And, of course, it's dial-up and the AOL.
Yeah. You hope nobody calls.
Right.
No one pick up the phone.
There's so many factors that you have to have.
I need to go to the World Wrestling Federation website.
Right, I've got
Please,
to go.
for 10 minutes.
No, I was looking for boobs, and I'm not gonna lie. And listen, men of America, it's time to stop looking at boobs.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Knock it off.
It's time. But at that time, at 16, I was like, I can see all the boobs I want to see ever.
Yeah. Unlimited.
Unlimited.
That's wild.
Turns out that's detrimental.
Yeah, super detrimental.
Very detrimental.
Yeah. Burns your eyes. Her and I went to the prom.
Who?
Carolyn Haney.
No, I did not know that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We had a terrible time, but I don't think she had fun. I don't think we weren't each other's type, for one. And it was coming close to the prom time date. Like, I don't think I went my senior year. Maybe I can't remember. I don't know. But we were both kind of coming close to the time crunch. I kind of liked talking to her. I don't know why, but we had one class.
Well, I think she was pretty funny.
And she was pretty.
Yeah, and
so
cute.
That's kind of I checked all my boxes instantly, just right there. And we had some class where we would go, and our class was at the baseball field. Whatever class this was, and you guys would practice, touch up the field, go through drills. The rest of us who didn't play baseball, or you were a girl, you sat on the concrete benches and you just talked to your friends for 55 minutes. And so I just remember being in high school, and I didn't run with that group, but eventually after 3 months of sitting outside, you just find yourself some friends there.
You do.
And so eventually I just asked her to the prom because I didn't have a date yet, and she didn't either. So we just went, and it just wasn't a good match. But anyway.
And that's not, not everybody is a good match.
We went somewhere downtown, just some restaurant anyway.
And I feel like, edit this out.
Okay.
I feel like